It's time for the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games at Southern Utah University in Cedar City. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of a Utah sports tradition at utahsummergames.org. Participate in over 50 sports around the state. Then plan to join the opening ceremonies Friday, June 5th, presented by State Bank of Southern Utah. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games.
Do you love the Tabernacle Choir? This year, the choir's music is everywhere you are. Listen to your favorite choir songs and music and the spoken word anytime you want on Alexa by simply enabling the skill.
Alexa, play music in the spoken word.
Now playing music in the spoken word.
You can also download the Tabernacle Choir app, subscribe to the choir on YouTube, listen on Spotify, and have access to all their wonderful music. Happy listening.
It's the best station, period.
Let's be honest. These guys have the best job on the planet.
You come to work in a frickin' bathrobe?
So if you're out there working hard, you should also expect your radio hosts to put in an honest day's work. So of course, Jake and Ben are live at 5 with the biggest headlines and the best analysis in Utah. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5. The KSL Sports Zone.
Jacob Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. It's time for Live at 5, even though it's 5:08. We're still live. The latest story at KSLSports.com is a real thriller, Ben.
Okay.
Here's how Utah's Jackson Dart threw a, quote, fit at the 2026 Kentucky Derby. I was really excited to open this up thinking that he had some sort of meltdown, but no, it's about his outfit.
Yeah.
He and his girlfriend went to the Kentucky Derby. Let me ask you this. Would you rather dress up and go to the Kentucky Derby or dress up and go to the Met Gala?
Kentucky Derby.
Not even close, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Horse racing? A bunch of weirdos?
Joe Burrow did both.
Yeah, but you're not going to see a Kardashian doing blow in the bathroom at the Kentucky Derby.
You don't think?
I don't know. Did they go to the Kentucky Derby?
Well, I don't know if the Kardashians did, but...
Somebody is?
Somebody is.
Somebody is?
Yeah.
All right. The biggest story of the day is the NBA playoffs. Hit it, Christian.
Mike Conley was an all-star in the NBA. I think people forget about that. Like, at once upon a time, he was one of the best point guards in the league. Like, and I always tell him that, like, Mike, you used to be one of my favorite players. Like, when I used to play 2K, I used to play with you and just run by everybody, shoot floaters and shoot layups all day long. So, yeah, man, Mike is incredible to be doing this at his age. And I think what keeps me engaged so much is just for him to be this old and, like, have this many years and, like, his engagement, like, the way he's locked into the game plan, locked in on everything, like, what tendencies and stuff like that, the game plan. I think that's super important for me to see, like, you know, for him to be, you know, this a vet and, like, 18 years in and just super locked in.
When we looked at them, at least 4 of them were goaltending, maybe even a 5th. You know, it's kind of, to me, it's a little alarming that none of them were called. And, you know, here's a generational shot blocker who's 7'6", who goes after everything, and there's like no heightened awareness that these blocks could be, you know, goaltends. I mean, the third possession of the game was a goaltend, and it was a clean, obvious one. So let's just say there were 4. That's 8 points. You know, the value of 8 points in an NBA game is massive, right? That's also 33% of his blocks were goaltending uncalled. And, you know, if I were to give you a 33% raise, you'd like that, right? I mean, that's a huge number.
Like that?
What do you think were goaltends? You follow me? You follow me on the first one? I mean, if you look at them, yeah, probably 3 or 4. Yeah. I wish I had that type of. I wish I had that type of treatment too.
All right, that was Anthony Edwards talking about Mike Conley rubbing it in Ben's face with a great game last night. Mm-hmm. The T-Wolves and Mike Conley were obviously listening to the show yesterday. Followed by Chris Finch talking about Wemby's missed goaltend calls. And then, of course, Rudy Gobert saying he wished he got the same treatment when it came to goaltending.
Of course, Rudy does. Yeah, Mike Conley was great last night. 12 points, 6 assists, 0 turnovers, most importantly. Was plus 13, but was plus 12 in the fourth quarter alone of a very close game. So Mike was great there, and I think Anthony Davis is exactly right, and probably what Mike Conley's remaining best skill is what he's saying basically is his professionalism, which is he shows up prepared. He shows up ready to go. He's paid attention to what is being asked of him, what he needs to do, and he's not going to go rogue or make weird mistakes a whole lot. Physically, he's outmatched most nights on the floor, but he knows exactly how to play the game and where he can be impactful, and he was last night 4 of 7 from 3, accounting for all 12 of his points with those 6 assists. And then... Well,
real quick on Mike. Can I thoughts? When Mike Conley came to Utah, I thought it was really telling that he diagnosed what the team needed and fit in with the team, as opposed to you hear so many NBA players say, I'm going to play my game.
Yeah.
And most people don't view somebody saying that as a negative. Yeah, you go play your game. Sometimes I think that you eclipse the team when you go say, I'm going to play my game. And Mike had enough clout coming to Utah. He could have forced some adjustment because Rudy and Donovan were both really young, and Mike had a great rep, and he could have come in and said, for example, the Jazz threw nothing but lobs when Mike got to the Jazz. Mike Conley said when he got here, Ben, you might have even been covering or remember this press conference. He said, I've thrown maybe 2 lobs in my whole life. He left the Jazz so good at the lob that Minnesota brought him in specifically to throw lobs
to
Rudy Gobert.
Yeah.
He diagnosed what the Jazz needed, and he fit in and did his best to accomplish just that. I think that's a little bit of what Ant's saying, no?
No, I think you're exactly right.
Professionalism.
Yeah.
He fits in. What does the team need? The team needs a decent performance. How many minutes did he play? He didn't even play that many minutes.
He played 24 minutes.
24 minutes. I'm sure that Finch pulled him aside and said, Mike, we need 24 minutes from you. We need no mistakes. We need you to fit in and play solid, make De'Aaron Fox look stupid, and help us win the game.
Aye, Cap.
And that's exactly what Mike Conley did. I think that's really cool and somewhat rare in the NBA for a player to say, okay, team, what do you need from me?
And Mike Conley played 7 of those 24 minutes in the fourth quarter. I mean, he played in the biggest moments of the game and was strong, where usually that would have gone to Dante DiVincenzo or Ayo Dosunmu, and those guys are both hurt. Dosunmu questionable for the next game, but he was ready to go. Despite the fact that he only played 54 regular season games this year.
He was cut at one point.
Yeah, right. They traded him for Ayo Dosunmu.
Yeah.
And then they traded him to Charlotte from the Bulls, and then the Charlotte waived him and brought him, and the Timberwolves brought him back, and he proved he could still be impactful. So that's a real feather in his cap. It's a real great reflection of who he is as a person and as a player, and why he's accomplished as much as he has, despite the fact that he's been consistently the smallest guard in the NBA on average over the last 15 years since he got into the league. So great. That was awesome. Absolutely incredible.
Speaking of lobs, by the way, I just saw Donovan Mitchell throw a lob to no one.
Well, he's
went right out of bounds.
Prone to do that.
Cleveland and Detroit are underway in Detroit. It's 5-5 early.
Elsewhere in the same game, not Charlotte or not
Talking
Cleveland.
about Wemby's goaltends. Chris Finch is one of the loudest complainers among coaches in the NBA when it comes to the refs, generally without specifically calling them out by name, the way we have seen Devin Booker do in this playoffs, the way Jaylen Brown just went on and was whining about being targeted. He kind of famously said the Thunder make mistakes too when he was trying to get the Thunder to have more fouls called against them because they draw so many and don't get called for a whole lot. And now he has poisoned the well with every Victor Wembanyama block that they have to wonder, was that actually a goaltend or not? And I can go back and watch these videos. I don't know how many of them were goaltend. One of them clearly was like off the backboard, but it wasn't layup off the backboard. He blocks it a split second later and the refs just didn't see it. Julius Randle threw it off kind of the corner of the backboard and then he touched it. I don't think the ball was going to go in, so that might have been why they didn't call it. Regardless, now every time Victor Wembanyama touches the ball on a shot, the ref is going to have a second thought whether or not he blows the whistle. So even if he only does it once the rest of the series, good job, Chris Finch. You made him think that might be a goaltend. That's a very good promise, and then, or a very good result. And then, secondly, you hope it gets in Victor's head. You hope Victor hears it and starts wondering, "Ooh, maybe I shouldn't grab that one. Maybe I shouldn't touch that one because that would be a goaltend." So really smart on his part. There are ways to manipulate the refs that don't necessarily have to be calling them idiots. And I'm on record. I don't like the whole manipulate the ref game, but Phil Jackson was really good at what you're talking about. He'd make post-game comments that were not calling anybody out per se, but little
passive
just
aggressive,
getting on your radar.
Yeah,
that kind of thing. He did it when they'd go against the Jazz all those years in the playoffs. There'd be a little subtle thing, after, oh man, in this building, the building's so loud that the referees, they automatically get a lot of calls because the fans are so loud and so great. This subtle stuff where it's not like, we're calling you out because you're terrible, like Jaylen Brown did, but I'm going to put you on a little notice. Just pay attention to this sort of thing. And again, I don't like the manipulation aspect, but of it, coaches doing it subtly in post games, at least I can appreciate that, as opposed to Chris Paul crying in their ear or Doc Rivers crying in their ear the whole game, which is just obnoxious.
I don't like the woe is me stuff. In fact, I don't like any of it. I'm with you. But if you're going to do it, this is the smart way to do it. I think Chris Finch does it in a very smart way. Chris Finch is a good coach. He's a little strange. I know at times they've debated whether or not they need to replace him because they don't generally close games well, though they did last night. They shouldn't.
He's good.
I agree.
You're not going to do better in Minnesota.
I totally agree. So I would hope that they wouldn't. And he had a great game plan against Victor Wembanyama, who, again, as we mentioned, despite having a triple-double with an NBA record 12 blocks, had a terrible fourth quarter. Victor Wembanyama had 3 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 blocks in the fourth, 2 blocks in the fourth, which is not terrible. But a 7'5" guy who's going to finish number 2 in MVP voting shot 1 of 5 from the floor. I mean, he was confused in this game from the very beginning, which he shouldn't be. I didn't think anything that Minnesota did was something he hadn't seen before. But he goes 5 of 17. He does this occasionally, and he'll usually do it early in a series and not late. It kind of takes a little while to warm up, but he took 8 threes. Like, honestly, there's a real argument he shouldn't take 8 threes the rest of the series. What are you doing out there? I get that you can make them, and he can get hot and hit 6 of 8. He really can, but he doesn't need to do that. And he just may not want to get beat up, and that's great if I'm the Timberwolves. I'm just going to keep beating him up.
I was thinking about our conversation yesterday on if you could pick one player to combat Wemby in the NBA, it might be Jalen Duren.
Yeah.
I was thinking of that take. I was like, somebody physical, and it might be Jalen Duren.
Unbelievably strong, maybe the strongest player in the NBA. That duo in general with he and Christian, or not Christian Stewart, he and Beef Stew, what's his name? Isaiah Stewart, excuse me. Those two guys are just nasty front court players and will just hit you in the ribs, chase you around, make your life hell for 48 minutes. So
Detroit with the early lead on the Cavaliers, 15-9.
Donovan shooting a lot. Donovan.
You don't say.
Getting a lot of shots up already. So, hey, look, man, I thought that I still think the Spurs are going to win this series. I think they're better than Minnesota. I don't trust Minnesota all that much. But you know what? I thought Minnesota was going to go to the finals, and then the Mavericks did it. If I was better at betting on games, I would bet on games and be rich that way. That's not certainly what I pride myself on. But I think the Spurs are still going to win this series. I'm really glad Minnesota won the first game. I like to see long series. I like seeing teams have to figure it out. I like Victor Wembanyama having to face some real adversity, and that's where he sits today. He's going to have to figure out this puzzle of Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert and Jaden McDaniels and how to not settle for easy shots. The NBA playoffs are not easy. No one gets there easily. He's going to have to learn how to do it.
The other game is yesterday is not really even worth talking about. The Knicks creamed the Sixers. It wasn't even close the whole game, 137-98. The only comment I have about that one, Ben, watching it, is Joel Embiid was unsolvable for Boston. New York put him in the pick and roll over and over and over again. So if Philly's going to stand a chance in this series, that's the adjustment they're going to have to make. Joel Embiid is not a bad defensive player, and he is not the slowest center laterally in the league.
No.
But he's also not the quickest, and New York really took advantage of it. So that will be the challenge for the Sixers, because all the Knicks did over and over again was pick and roll Joel Embiid, and it worked every time.
And they shot 63% from the floor and 51% from three. And when the Knicks do that, they look like one of the best teams, if honestly not the best team in the NBA, when they go out and put up 137 points. Now, the problem is, we know that's not who they are.
No.
At least not every night. Certainly not often enough to really be considered a championship contender. So while I think they have a real good chance to get out of the East, I'm not saying it's like 70%, but it's more than 25%, which would be their equal share of the 4 teams remaining. It's because they can put together nights like last night. I know that's not what Game 2 is going to look like.
Well,
their
we'll see
problem.
what Nick, registered nurse, has to say about it. By the way, I was talking to a nurse the other day, and I was like, "Oh, you're a nurse." She said, "I'm a registered nurse, an RN, I believe is what they call it, Christian." Almost
This is true.
Almost as if I was insulting her by just calling her a nurse. Is that a thing?
No, I mean, a nurse typically means RN. I don't know what else.
Yeah, I've never heard anyone.
There's a nurse practitioner, but that's above an RN, so I don't know.
All right. All right, good to know.
Yeah, I've never heard that either. I've never heard a nurse be offended by saying.
My wife is a nurse, and she would not get offended if you did not refer to her.
If I just said nurse?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I wonder if Nick felt the temptation to be a nurse in his professional life because it would just make it easy.
I doubt it. OG Anunoby was really good last night, 7 of 8 shooting, 2 of 2 from 3, 18 points. Again, he's just such a great two-way player. But he is not going to shoot 7 of 8 from the floor most games.
The second game tonight after the Cavaliers and the Pistons will be the Lakers and the Thunder, game number 1. You and I are not gambling people, but the spread, the Magic Vegas predicting wizard has Oklahoma City by 15 and a half. Ben, what is more likely, a sweep or the Lakers win 2?
Oh, a sweep. I thought you were going to say 1.
Okay, go 1.
Sweep.
I kind of think that too. The Lakers are not. Do you know what the average? These two teams played 4 times in the regular season. Oklahoma City won all 4.
Yeah.
Do you know what the average was?
14. 16. 18. 20. 23. 25. 27. 29. 29-point average margin of defeat. And they had Luka in some of those.
Some of those. Yeah. And Oklahoma City was missing Shea, and Luka wasn't playing for the closest one. The closest one was 9, and Shea nor Luka played in that game. And then the last one was something ridiculous, like 39 points.
I couldn't care any less about this series. And I didn't care about the Thunder-Suns series. And I know that's a bad sell for a sports radio host. But the Lakers are by far the worst team remaining in the playoffs. In fact, I would probably say amongst teams that qualified for the playoffs, the Lakers were in the bottom 4? How many teams that made the playoffs this year would the Lakers have beaten in the first round?
Outside the Rockets?
Outside of the Rockets, who didn't have KD for 5 of the 6 games.
Even that, the Rockets were so dysfunctional.
Yeah,
I still think they beat themselves. Would they have beaten Portland?
I honestly don't know. I think there's a real argument Portland beats the Lakers.
Phoenix?
Lakers might beat Phoenix.
I have interest in this series, and I can't believe I'm going to say this.
But I think the Lakers lose to the Magic.
Possible. What about the Hornets?
Hornets didn't make the playoffs.
Oh, they were the play-in.
Maybe the play-in. And they would have lost to Philly. Philly just beat Boston. So
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I agree with Adele's boyfriend about something.
All right.
Hello. This is what he had to say comparing Jokic to LeBron, but I think you'll get my point. He says the reason why you don't hear a lot of conversation about Jokic is I don't believe a lot of people are happy to see Jokic lose. But when LeBron loses, people are happy to see him lose, especially his peers. Guys who played in the league that have platforms today for different reasons, it's extra. They are happy to see him lose. I agree. I am also happy to see LeBron lose. And so I would be happy to see him lose 4 consecutive games, even though, I don't know, I'm not a Thunder fan per se.
Sure.
But yeah, I like watching LeBron lose. 100%. What do you bet me he has an injury by game 3?
Does LeBron miss game 3 at home? That is like the obvious most winnable game for the Lakers, and then they're down 0-3, and then it just doesn't matter that they lose the series.
I'm not even talking about necessarily missing a game, although I'm not saying that's not a possibility. But we'll get the injury report like, oh, LeBron has the tendinitis in the knee.
He's got a hamstring or something.
Where all of a sudden it's like, oh, that's why they're losing by 40 is because of LeBron's bone bruise or something.
Not uncommon in LeBron's career that his injuries become very well documented.
What was it that he had like a cast for his locker room clean out thing and then picked something up with his cast arm? Yeah. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
It was like 2 or 3 years ago. I bet
he
you
can barely
money.
Move.
Oh, my thumb.
Yeah.
By game 3, there will be something.
If the Lakers win a game, It will be Game 3, and it will be because the Thunder honestly decide to rest Shea up 2-0 in a series that they've won by an average of 25 points. And they just say, like, Shea kind of twisted his ankle in the third quarter of Game 2, and we're just going to be careful with him. And even then, it's like a 3-point game.
Is Jalen Williams going to play?
He's not playing in Game 1, I believe. So that's how the Lakers get a win, is J-Dub doesn't play. And
they'd have to be missing like 3 or 4
Yeah,
other
exactly
guys.
right. That's the problem. If you go and put in Case and Wallace and Lou Dort and, Chet, they're still better than the Lakers. So that's why this series is particularly hard for me to buy or express much interest in. And I'm not a LeBron hater. I don't celebrate LeBron losses. I also don't cheer for his wins necessarily. But I've seen everything LeBron has to show.
Live at 5 is brought to you by our friends at Trajan Wealth. Call Trajan today, your local trusted financial fiduciary, 1-855-TRAJAN-1, or visit their website at TrajanWealth.com. Coming up next, Ben, we have a kind of update on Utah's partnership. Is that the right word?
Mm-hmm.
With Otro Capital.
Okay.
And I'm curious to what you think about this. Okay. Coming up next, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses for a limited time. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
Be the best Jazz coverage in the market. They've got you covered with the Mammoth, the Cougars, the Utes, and the Aggies. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Join Scotty G and the coach at Miki Couture in Layton. Coming up Thursday from 10 to 2. Shop now for Mother's Day deals. 50% off any regularly priced blanket with code ZONE50. Christian, they're going to be in your neighborhood, buddy. You've got a new mom in your house. Mickey's are pretty good.
I'm not even joking. Every time they do this promo, they do it for Mother's Day. They do it for Christmas. They do it for Valentine's Day as well, I believe. I've gone up there and stopped in.
Does the baby have a Mickey yet?
The baby has 2.
Nice. Let's see. You're off to a good start parenting, Christian. Way to go. Ben, we have not heard a whole lot lately about Utah's, the University of Utah and their athletic department's partnership with Otro Capital. I'm saying that right. Mm-hmm. Otro. When it was first announced, it was a $500 million capital investment in the athletic department, basically making a private for-profit entity called Utah Brands and Entertainment, LLC. But we are really short on details. And we were kind of told that this was going to be finalized and put into place this year, but we still don't know anything about it.
Correct.
Amanda Kristovich, who I've not heard of, but checks out. She works for Front Office Sports. Ben, she's a reporter for Front Office Sports. She said, she tweeted out today, a few months ago, I sent a public records request for a copy of the contract between the University of Utah and Otro Capital. Today, the university denied my request. Reason below. And there's a lot of legalese. I'll try and read through the relevant stuff. They cite a Utah code. They say GRAMA, which is, what does that stand for, Ben? It's basically a FOIA, GRAMA, same thing. Yeah. GRAMA allows individuals or entities who provide records to the university to make a claim of business confidentiality with respect to information so provided. And GRAMA prohibits the university from disclosing any information that is subject to claim of business confidentiality. They cite another code. Then adds, the university is in receipt of a claim of business confidentiality with respect to certain portions of the responsive contract. As such, the university has withheld those records in accordance with requests for confidentiality, as that information is classified under GRAMA as, quote, protected.
Okay.
They're saying that because they're in business with a private entity, that private entity's business is not subject to public scrutiny, and thus they're denying the request.
I'm Wasn't it Jason Chaffetz who wanted to get all the information about this out, and which
the Fox News host?
Yes, the former BYU kicker.
I think there's a lot of people who want to see this, but yeah, thus front office sports, whose job is covering the business of sports. And since it is the first.
It is the first of its kind.
And only, I think everybody is interested in how this is happening. So, no, I don't think this is motivated by Jason Chaffetz, no.
But he has made a big stink about this. I will note that he is somebody who has also tried to get this information, but he's not the only person. No, I'm very curious about it, too. And because it is a state university, I think it absolutely probably will come out at some point. And
I don't know, not according to this.
Well, this is the University of Utah deciding not to grant it.
Yeah, under this premise.
And these can be challenged, and then they can delay and let whatever they want out, and we'll see if lawyers get involved and whoever.
Well, they'd have to.
Yeah, exactly. So I suspect eventually this will come out, unless there's something really bad in here that Utah's trying to hide. They should just release it.
So that's what I wanted. So, Ben, I'm just married to an attorney, certainly not far from one. And I'm assuming Utah is citing these codes and stuff, and that's all on the up and up. I don't know about future lawsuits or whatever. I would guess as long as people like front office sports are willing to pony up the dough to fight it, then they will. The problem is universities often win out because they have deeper pockets than
They have lawyers on retainer that do this.
Right.
Yeah.
Than the media outlets that are trying to compel that information. But what you just hit on, I think, is my takeaway. Why not just put it out there?
Yep.
Why not just put or at least enough info out there to give people an understanding of what it is that's going on? Because you may be dealing with a private entity. You may have created your own private entity, but you're still a public university.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how your lawyers tie up rights and stuff like that and create new stuff, there are still citizens of this fine state that are invested in the university. Not just the athletic department, but in the university itself. Ben, did you ever do that? Go up there and look at how much money your professors were making?
Yes.
I think everybody did that at least once, right? To see, I wonder how overpaid my sociology teacher is.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that all that information is public, because it is a public university. And wrapping yourself in the shroud of legalese to prevent transparency just leads bozos like me to think, what are you up to?
Yeah, there's either something really bad in there that they want to hide, or they should just release it. And if there's something bad that they're trying to hide, then that's really bad.
That's really bad?
Yeah, that's my thought on the whole process.
And I don't want to get reckless by saying that there's something really bad going on, but I don't understand why you wouldn't lay it out. This is the payment schedule, or this is how we're dividing things up, or this is how it's going to work. This is why Otro, all that stuff. But by simply hiding behind, we don't have to. Maybe legally you can do that, but wouldn't it just be better for everybody if you were just transparent about what was going on? I would bet you $1 zillion every Ute fan out there will defend this decision to the hilt if they actually know what it is.
I hated this idea when we first heard about it.
Oh, I still hate it.
I still do. That's not changed at all. This doesn't make me like it better. Does it make me like it worse? Probably a little bit.
It makes you suspicious is what
Certainly
it does.
Certainly does. Yeah. What's in there that nobody gets to see? Why is it such a big deal that you're hiding this? And
where's that dough going?
Yeah, I understand why other schools, BYU doesn't have to, reveal everything that they do to get their money and where it comes from and who has it and who gets paid what. I get that some of that is private, and the University of Utah probably feels like its athletic department is privy to some of that privacy as well. And maybe Otro Capital feels that way. But selling long-term value, because again, Otro Capital wouldn't do this if they didn't think they were going to be able to make money off of what you're doing. So if they can make money off of it, why aren't you making the money off of it? Clearly, Otro Capital feels like this is a good deal for them. And Utah must have felt some sense of urgency, bordering on desperation, to become the first of its kind to strike this type of deal that still not a lot of schools, if any, have followed suit.
None.
It doesn't feel great to me. And I do worry that Utah is trying to keep up with the Joneses when it comes to BYU, which is a losing battle, because apparently BYU has unlimited resources and they're willing to flex that muscle over and over and have somewhat rubbed it in the face, whether on purpose or not, that they don't need private equity to be able to fund their athletic department, and their donors will step up and give them whatever they need to get the top players in the world. So I hope Utah's not trying to compete that way, because that seems like it will force you into a bad situation eventually. That doesn't mean I think Utah's got bad people running it or can't succeed or have success, but I worry that, you're paying tomorrow for a hamburger today, and I think that's a mistake, especially for a college, for a university.
I do hate whataboutism, and for the people who are going, well, what about BYU? I hate that. Don't change the subject to talk about BYU.
To do that if they want
We're
to.
talking about you. And yes, and listen, I'll tell you, I've been uncomfortable in the past about financial stuff that BYU's done. Their whole, let's get a pot of donors to pay the coaches, which this seems like a naive take now. But back when I had it, I was totally uncomfortable with that the university wouldn't be paying the coaches because they were cheaping out. So they were going to get a pool of boosters to compensate the coaches, made the coach beholden to all sorts of different people that shouldn't have a voice in the room.
Agreed.
Again, now maybe that take seems a little naive now, but then I had a problem with it. How about this, Ben? I think it was a huge mistake when, as a direct reaction to Utah going to the Pac-12, that BYU went independent.
Correct.
I think that was a mistake.
Okay.
And to do it as a reaction to something that somebody else was doing at the time is silly reasoning. What was happening to Utah had nothing to do with what was happening at BYU. You've got to chart your own course. Just because you were jelly doesn't mean that you should make a knee-jerk reaction that would actually, I would argue, damage the football program, but certainly submarine the basketball program. Absolutely.
Yes.
By making that knee-jerk reaction because of what had happened to Utah. If BYU was flush and Utah's trying to react to BYU's situation, that is a mistake. And that is a battle that you're not going to win. I've said this a lot, that Utah needs to go back to Mountain West Conference Utah, where you make $1 out of a dime. That's going to be your edge. That your program is run financially so much better that you can compete with teams or universities that have more resources, because Utah, unfortunately, is not going to have the resources of Michigan. Forget about BYU. Did you see that Michigan is paying their football team $50 million this year? Never going to happen at Utah.
No.
It's never going to, unless inflation gets significantly worse. It's never going to happen at Utah. So don't try. Don't pretend to be something you're not. And you know what? I would love to know more about this Otro Capital thing, because maybe it is a good idea. Maybe it is innovative thinking. Maybe it is. I'm saying I'm leaving the door open to maybe I'm wrong. And maybe this is a smart thing to do to navigate the modern sports landscape. But how are we going to know if they don't even tell us what it is?
At best, what you're saying is what happens. Like, what you're saying is the absolute best case scenario. That, like, it works out and everything is fine. The downside of it is seemingly so enormous to me. It just seems so potentially dangerous to owe somebody your advertising dollars of the future, your marketing dollars, same thing. The revenue that you can make from your football team. Again, it's just like, just the people who are coming in, these venture capitalists or whoever it is, this Otro Capital company that's coming in, it's not doing it to do you a favor.
Yeah.
It's not a charity. They're doing it to take money that otherwise could have been in your pocket. And maybe they feel like, hey, we joined together and it's a Shark Tank situation where by yourself you don't know how to do it, and with our expertise we can take you to the next level and then you can make more money off of it. Maybe. And that's probably the best case scenario. But again, if that's the case,
release it.
Let people see it.
Let people see it.
Let everyone see it. So, no, I was extraordinarily skeptical when I saw it. I understand conferences are doing it. The Big 12 just did it with whatever, Redbird, ball in the hand, ball on the carpet, whatever their
bird in the hand is a ball on the carpet.
Whatever their sponsorship is.
In the right place at the right time.
If every conference feels like there's value to it, I might be a little bit more on board, but I don't know. Being the first one to do it, being the only one to do it, not letting anyone see what's going on. It's just like my antenna is way up.
Who was the local politician that wouldn't release his calendar? Was it the last AG?
Sim-Gill?
No, it was I think it was the Attorney General. Who was the last Attorney General? The guy who got caught up in
yes.
Operation Underground Railroad. What was that dude's name?
Yes.
I'm embarrassed that I'm forgetting. But you remember they were trying to FOIA or grandma or whatever his calendar, and he just wouldn't do it?
Yeah.
And everybody, including myself, was thinking to themselves,
Sean Reyes.
Yeah. Why not?
Why not? It's a calendar.
Why not?
Yeah.
Who you meeting with, bro?
Right.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
And I get it that you can.
Apologies to Sim Gill.
Yeah, don't slander.
Don't slander Sim Gill.
I knew it wasn't you, Sim. Can I call him Sim?
Yes. Apologies.
Mr. Gill.
Sean Reyes.
It was
Shame on
Sean
you.
Reyes. No, I know. But and that's an oversimplification, but the same logic goes to Utah. I mean, why not? Why not?
I'm totally with you. And I'm very skeptical. I hope for our community it works out for the best and it elevates everybody. I'm very skeptical.
Diana Rossini's on that calendar, isn't she, Sean?
Going to Sedona.
Stay tuned. More next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hey there, it's Wayfair here, where delivery and setup are as easy as a few taps on your phone. You're relaxing in an old hammock, scrolling Wayfair's app, when you spot it, a brand new patio set. Next thing you know, Wayfair delivers it right to your patio and sets it up. Oh, you need a new grill too? All right, Wayfair's got you covered. With Wayfair's Room of Choice delivery and fast expert setup on qualifying orders, life gets a little easier. Visit wayfair.com or the Wayfair app.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
Not only do these guys give you the best Jazz coverage in the market, they've got you covered with the Mammoth, the Cougars, the Utes, and the Aggies. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Two niggas on the airways, talking sports. They got him Matrix and also loves his tie-dye. Ben's got style with his scarves. Oh my.
Hello, this message is for Jake and Ben. Once again, this is Zach from Ohio. I listen via podcast, so I'm a listener from the future. And the first thing I have to say is, okay, little brosif, challenge accepted. My next submission for the Quinn Snyder Captain Jack drop is from the original Pirates of the Caribbean movie at the 1 hour, 11 minute mark. Now, I imagine this is almost verbatim what Coach Snyder had to say to Royce O'Neal to convince him to guard James Harden from behind during that infamous playoff series. It goes a little like this. May I ask you something? Have I ever given you any reason not to trust me? Do us a favor. I know it is difficult for you, but please, stay here and try not to do anything stupid. Now, bro, you're the actor in the family, so you better be giving us a Captain Jack impersonation with your next submission. Don't just read it. Don't be like that. Like that.
Like that?
Shout out to Zach calling in from Ohio. Use the call-in feature in the KSL Sports app. Just open the app and then hit the call-in and send the audio right to Christian. Make sure you say this is for Jake and Ben, especially if, like Zach, you are one of our friends from the future who's listening via podcast. And I do like it that Zach is calling out his actual brother, Eb, who sent us a call in. Eb from Ogden, right?
Eb, an actor from Ogden.
Yeah. So bring it on, Eb. You've been called out, bro.
We have a multi-state feud going on between brothers over a Captain Jack, Quinn Snyder meme from podcasters from the future listening to our show.
I love this show so much.
Crazy what moving to drive time will do, huh?
It's the best.
Shout out to Zach and Eb.
And we are...
Really, parents really blew it. I'm sure they hear this all the time by not naming Zach Flo, right? That was a mistake.
Flo?
Eb and Flo.
Oh, I see.
You know, I'm sure he's heard that before. But Eb and Zach, what's going on here?
Want to remind you, we're teaming up with Beehive Meals, honoring people that impact youth sports in our communities. Nominate the youth sports volunteer you know for the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week at KSLSports.com/contest and listen every Thursday to Jake and Ben for the winner. It's the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week. We love getting those call-ins. Thanks for sending them. Keep it up.
We have another one we'll play tomorrow. We didn't get to it.
We will have more Jake and Ben coming up next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hey there, it's Wayfair here, where delivery and setup are as easy as a few taps on your phone. You're relaxing in an old hammock, scrolling Wayfair's app, when you spot it, a brand new patio set. Next thing you know, Wayfair delivers it right to your patio and sets it up. Oh, you need a new grill too? All right, Wayfair's got you covered. With Wayfair's Room of Choice delivery and fast expert setup on qualifying orders, life gets a little easier. Visit wayfair.com or the Wayfair app.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Just top.